This is Chee, a Malaysian entrepreneur with a boundless energy. She opened COCOdry, a blow-dry bar, just before COVID hit the world. And from the initial onset of her entrepreneurial journey, she was told she would fail. She was too young, too inexperienced to succeed. She proved everyone wrong. And in this video, she reveals her strong beliefs and what it takes to succeed as a young person in this world of business. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video together with me. So let's just talk about COCOdry straight away. How do I say this? Is it a hair salon or is it really, do I say blow dry bar? Which one would be the right expression?
I would say it's a blow dry bar that we focuses on blowouts and natural treatments. In US, blowouts, the term is very popular, it's very common. It means going to a hair salon and getting a hair wash and a hairstyle. So we call it a blowout session. And when it comes to Malaysia, we commonly call it wash and blow. But we are so much than that. You know, like you were in COCOdry earlier, and we have a menu, you know, with like 10 different styles for you to choose from. And all you have to do is just to pay a price. Yeah, but whereas when it comes to a lot of other salons that we go to that do not focus on blowouts, you always have to explain to them, can I get a wash and blow? I want my curl to be like this, like that. And you start looking for like references from the phone. So to us, it's always about what are the customer experience that we are providing. What is the value added services? How can we add convenience? How can we add value in our guest life? So every single thing is well thought of. Like even on your seat, there's always a charger for you to charge your phone. There's extra plug for you to charge your laptop. And right now it's raining. Even our team member, COCO Squad, will still pass you the umbrella. And you can just take it home. So it's always about customer experience.
The personalized experience, the customer experience. Where did you get the idea about the concept for a blow-dry bar?
I didn't come up with the blow dry bar idea myself. I was inspired by the dry bar in the US, started by Ellie Webb, and I found out about the dry bar while listening to a podcast, and it was Girl Boss podcast by Sophia Amaruso.
How did you get to that podcast? What made you get into that specific podcast?
It's so funny because being a girl boss was cool at a point of time. Like everyone was like, oh my gosh, you know, like girl boss, you know, she had a Netflix series, she had books. So it all started with me picking that book. And then as I finished the book, I was like, wow, I'm so inspired by her journey, I'm so inspired by her story, and I want to do something of my own. I knew at a point of time, whatever that I built, it must be doing good by doing what. It can't just be an idea. To me, it's always important for you to have soul and heart behind what you do to bring it to life.
I did research about you before we started with that whole interview and whatever.
Thank you.
And I know there's more of a story behind because you have got some experience in the hair salon industry already from your own family, right? Your father was very much engaged in that.
Yes, my dad is one of my biggest inspiration. He came from a poor family. He doesn't even have a proper education. He was a high school dropout, and the fact that he built a business when he was 21 years old was very inspiring to me. So I grew up in a hair salon. By saying that, it means that the moment when I wake up, I will always go to my dad's salon, see the way my parents interact with each other, the way they interact with the guests, and for me to get my hair done, hair wash, all in the salon. And I'll go to school, and after school, the bus would still drop me at the salon.
How old were you at that time?
Very young. I think since I was 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
Yes, like my dad is a hairstylist. Even when my parents met, he didn't start after I was born. He started when he was, I think, 16.
What was the main learning that you captured from your parents?
How I learned from my parents is not through direct interaction of like my dad sitting down with me and telling me that, you know, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. It's really through the conversation that my dad has had on the phones with his team member, with my mom as I was sitting on the back seat. In terms of the main learnings is definitely leadership and the importance of management and people.
Is that what makes COCOdry a success as well? What is the main driving force in COCOdry?
The people.
The people.
The people are everything.
People say like that the leader makes the people in an organization.
The people makes the leader.
The people makes the leader. Tell me more about that.
The people makes the leader. I would say that alone, you can only do so much. But with the right people, you have a very strong sense of purpose, a very strong sense of motivation to keep going even when things get hard.
Okay.
Like even recently, like we are going through a few challenges in my business, and my team member, her name is Shan, and she just texted me, Kim, no matter what, we can go through this together, like don't worry. It wasn't a lengthy message, but that little short message to have that reassurance, you know, like knowing that your team is behind you in the decision that you make is very empowering. So people always think that, oh, the leader is the one that empowers the dream, but the thing is, the team member empowers the leader too. The relationship goes both ways.
When I came to your shop right now, can I say shop?
Yeah.
Okay, I can say shop again. When I came to your shop right now, I was feeling welcomed instantly. I was asked if I want to have a coffee or a tea. Then I was sat down and they were explaining everything they are doing with me. And it's not a rushed job. They took time. They were really explaining everything to me. And I think it took pretty much 2 hours or 1.5 hours, the whole series of steps we underwent. I don't want to say anything wrong.
Yes, yes.
It was really cool, you know.
Yeah,
and your
I'm glad
people
to
are
hear
really,
that.
really well educated, trained up, and can feel the personal experience coming there, and it's a reflection of you.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, because to us it's never really about the skills, but also the vibe, the energy that we are giving. And we also make sure that the people that we hire, core values are very important. We'll always look back at the core values when we complete our hiring process, and we do have 5 core values that I would like to share. So our 5 core values are customer experience is everything.
Okay.
So like based on what you've shared with me, so like, you know, like good that I know that they have been doing it right. And it's always about going the extra mile, you know, to our guests. And we like to call them guests instead of customers, because it's like customers are the one that pay for a service. But in hotel, they call guests because it's all about hospitality.
Nice.
Yes. And then second of all, it's little act of kindness. The little things that you do for each other that is just out of random kindness. You don't need any good reason to do something nice. We just want to cultivate that culture. It can just be, you know, like it's raining right now, there's someone waiting outside the store. It can be as simple as, hey, would you like to come in and wait even though they're not our guest? That's little act of kindness, and we have done it before. The third one is today must be better than yesterday. It's always about improvement, but I'm not expecting you to change from 0 to 100 within a day, but even with 1% improvement, that is improvement. And the only constant in life is change. It means that the world's always changing. Yeah, the only constant in life is change. Yeah, the reason why it is so important is because people are often very comfortable and refuse to change. So we want to put that in, because if we don't change when we are required to, that's when we get left behind. That's when we no longer become relevant. And the last one is teamwork makes the dream work.
How did you get about finding those?
How did I get about finding those? It's really about cultivating the workplace. And I always tell my team member, like we spend a lot of time at work, like 8 hours at work a day. You might as well as make it count and make sure that you enjoy, you know, your day working with COCOdry. And you would want to work with people who are like-minded, people whom you can trust, people you know will have your back if things go wrong. So these are the people that we'd like to attract to work with us as well.
When you opened COCOdry, a few months down the road, COVID hit Malaysia, all the world, of course, and the close down of the economy happened in Malaysia. Before, when you opened it, you didn't know, of course, COVID would coming, so it was a double whammy. First of all, I think you were young. People was most likely saying, like, you might not have the experience overall. Maybe there are even some people saying, like, hey, you are young and a woman, and then COVID hit. I would like to know the story there. Did people call you? You were crazy. How did you feel when the economy closed down? How did you manage to succeed? That's a long story,
I think
right?
there are actually 2 parts of where I can share what I went through. The first one was before I started COCOdry. So before I started, I needed fun, and I was doing a lot of market research as well. So I was going around to pitch my idea, I was going around to ask for opinion, and a lot of people told me that you're gonna fail, you wouldn't make it, and you're opening in Bangsar, you're gonna get eaten by the big fish. So that was a very common feedback that I've gotten. And also at the same time, I had really supportive husband, which is Mark, and also friends who actually told me, I think it'll work. Just do it and figure it out along the way. Because the thing is, you will not have the answers to everything. I took a leap of faith and I just did it anyway because
Just do it
because I would rather fail knowing that I have tried and given my best instead of failing without even trying. It's the same as there is never a perfect time to start.
I like that. How did you know then it was the right time for you? It's never a perfect time, there's never a right time, but how do you know at that point of time you were at the right stage mentally, emotionally, possibly even financially, from support? Like, how did you know that?
I am very resourceful. If you don't have funds, raise them.
Okay,
right?
wow.
If you don't have experience, gain them. You want to know why the previous blow-dry bar didn't work? Find out who ran the business and talk to the person. If you want to know why blow-dry bar is successful, fly to country that has blow-dry bars operating for years and email the owner. So this has always been my way of doing things. You don't need to have the answers to everything, but you can find out more to give you the confidence that you needed to start the business.
So the creativity in your mind, the resourcefulness, the ideas.
Yes.
How do you make it happen? You mentioned there was before another blow-dry bar, isn't it?
Yes.
In Malaysia that didn't make it. I was reading about this one as well. So what happened there? Did you reach out to that owner?
Yes, I did.
You did, of course you did. Of course you did.
Because I needed to know what went wrong, what happened. Because essentially the ideas are the same.
Can you share what went wrong?
I just want to say that I'm very grateful for her because many people can share success stories, but not many people are willing to share their battle or war stories. I'm so grateful that she was willing to open up to me and share why it didn't make it. She actually spent that 1 hour with me right at Bangsa village to share her stories with me. She even gave me advices on what she wished she could have done.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow, there's great sharing overall.
Yes.
Okay. When COVID came and the industry closed down, you most likely had to close down as well initially, right?
We did, because for our physical store we had to close down.
And then, I mean, you just got started. You just had most likely the first bit of success.
We had no income at all. Literally zero stream of income.
What did you do?
We channel all our remaining resources on social media, on e-commerce store, and we're just offering people free online scalp consultation, hair consultation, arrange a Zoom call, speak to them, recommend the right products to them. We channel a lot of content that could bring values and also tips on how to take care of their hair during the MCO.
Did people pick it up?
Yes,
Wow.
and that's how we survived.
No, of course. But did you have a customer base already a little bit?
Did I have a customer base already? I would say not many.
Of course.
Not many, because we only operated 3 months. And
Wow.
many people didn't even know what was COCOdry all about. They didn't even know what is a blow-dry bar. So we really had to put ourselves out there, educate people on what we do.
Were you the only business in the hair industry that was doing that, or did anybody else?
Honestly, I wasn't. I'm not sure what other people were doing.
Actually, who cares, right?
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
mean
like, you did your style.
Yes, to us it's really about focusing internally on what we do best and what we can do, what are the potential, what are the opportunities, and this was our focus. People are always so caught up about, oh my god, that person is doing that, our competitor is doing this. I don't really believe in that. I mean, like, it's good to know what they're doing, but we shouldn't get caught up, because essentially that's what they do.
They can freeze,
and what
right?
makes us tick is we always have to look internally and see what we stand for, and what are the values, and what are the tips, what are the things that we could provide to our guests internally, back to our values. How can we enhance customer experience? How can we show them kindness in this difficult period?
So you were, I'm imagining that you most likely were sitting somewhere with your team, discussing it, what can we do?
Yes.
Trashing out ideas.
Yes.
Focusing, and then your team was most likely also very happy that you didn't say I closed down. But
I would say that I'm just very grateful to have all of them, because
are they still with you, the same people? Or?
Some of them, yes.
Oh, cool.
Some of them are still with me, especially Valerie and Shen.
Okay.
Giving
wow.
them a shout out. They're my left and right hand woman. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Nice. Okay, it's really about the team, and without them,
Yes.
you must have given them hope as well somewhere along the line, right? In that meeting, that we can make it happen somewhere. You
Yes.
were the leader. You still got to give
Yes,
the hope, because I do know many
yes, for
employees
sure.
were freaking out most likely.
Yeah, I think it's just really reassuring them that, you know what, this may be tough. Remember, our core value, the only constant in life is change. So let's just sit together, we can get through this as a team. What are the things that we can do during this difficult time to sustain our business?
Now overall, I do know the Publica outlet. I do know this one here right now in Bangsa.
The Bangsa outlet.
There's some similarity, but would you overall say that the culture is still the same as it was in the beginning? Is the business approach of how you're doing it pretty much the same, or what has changed?
I would break this question into two parts. So
Sure.
the first part is about culture. The second part is about how I'm doing things. So when it comes to the culture part, it really depends on the people. Like for example, when it comes to Bangsa outlet, the people, they may still have the 5 core values, right? But then maybe one of them will be stronger than another. Maybe like the whole team is just so like connected. They're like a family. Customer experience is everything to them, and they'll always go extra miles, for the guests, for example. And then when it comes to the Publica team, like essentially at the core, they will have all these 5 core values, but probably in the sense that little act of kindness is something that they practice, something that they cultivate. They will always do something kind and nice for people that they don't even know, people that are not even our guests. But definitely it's not easy to maintain such culture, because culture is built by people. The moment when you have a bad apple, the culture will be affected. So it's really back to the rule of, what people always say, hire slow, fire fast. Yes, and that's something that I do believe in as well, because I would say that the culture has definitely shifted from having just 1 outlet to 3 outlets. Yeah, but in terms of second question, like have I changed the way I do things? Oh my god, so much. Like back then when we had first outlet, we never even had an office space. Like everything was done remotely. Our team was very small. We outsourced our accounting team, our HR services. I was doing every single thing myself. And then right now, as we grow, you start putting the right people at the right seat. You start building systems. So that is the differences in having 1 outlet and also 3 outlets. Having 80 members and 40 team members.
People nowadays, a lot of people talk always about have your why, know your why. What is your why in the industry? Number one, always 2 questions. And what is COCO actually standing for? Because also a story behind, right?
Yes.
What is COCO actually standing for? Because I think it relates to each other.
So to answer first question, find your why. I love that question. Sinek. I read that book too. Why is why important in business? Why is finding a why? Honestly, my why changes from time to time, and I do believe that it's a journey to find out your whys. Do I have a strong why right now? I really don't know.
Wow, let's call Simon, okay?
Yeah, I need to call, hey Simon. But I think it's really more on at different phase of your life, you experience different things. Why I started was very simple. I wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted to show people that I can do it too. I wanted to start a business that can also add values to other people's lives, not just another hair salon. But right now, if you ask me what are my whys moving forward, it's no longer about proving other people wrong anymore. It's really about just feeling enough, being confident in who you are, trust in your own capability, and trust in the process where this, journey is taking you, and doing my best every single day and taking it one day at a time. I don't have a huge why on why am I doing certain things. Does that make sense?
Does it make sense to you? Is COCOdry successful?
What is the definition of successful?
That was the next question for me as well. How do you know you are successful?
How do I know when I'm successful? Back then, it was recognition. Recognition was something that I look for to tell myself that I have made it, because it is very external. It's other people telling you that you have made it. But when will it ever be enough? How many recognitions do you need for you to know that you are successful? So now when I look back, it's kind of like that never ending, they call it the circle rat race, and I don't want to get sucked into it. I'm looking for something that is more sustainable. So right now, what success means to me is just really for my employee, to have really good salary, for them to buy houses, buy cars, progress in their life. To me, that is successful. Or when my team members are really happy working with COCOdry, they have a sense of fulfillment, I would call that successful. Or even when it comes to our guests telling me that, it's not about, oh, my hairstyle lasts for so long. It's always about, oh my gosh, I love how your team makes me feel. They make me feel so comfortable. COCOdry is like my second home. Everyone is so cheerful. And I feel so great being here.
Wow.
And this is one of the biggest compliments that I have ever received. Yeah, so
from customers or from employees?
Both.
Okay, cool.
Both. But
you answered already question. So it moved over from external recognition to now your team becoming very important and the success of your team, how your team feels, and why is that important now for you?
Responsibility. They can choose to work with other people, they can choose to work with other companies, and yet they choose to work with me, and that has become my responsibility to ensure that they are well taken care of, that they have an improved life, their skill set, their growth is significant ever since they work with me. And I've seen so many people who I work very closely with, like spreading their wings in other various industry.
Interesting.
Yeah, and to me, that is a very big fulfillment that, somehow along this journey, their life has improved. There is personal growth in them, and that enables them to progress in life.
Your team is called COCO Squad.
Yeah.
COCO Squad.
It's cool, like Girl Squad, COCO Squad. It's friendly, it's approachable.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, like we're in this together.
Oh,
that vibe.
Okay. I like that. Okay, but what are you looking out for in an employee? How do you know you have got the right employee in your organization?
Vibe and energy and value.
Vibe, energy,
It's
values.
never
How do you
re-
figure that out when somebody? How do you have a whole recruitment process that they go through?
Yeah, okay, so even in terms of recruitment process, let's talk about stylists, okay? They actually have to go through a couple of interviewing process. So the first one is face-to-face interview with my team member, with Valeria. So Valeria is actually my first hire, and right now she handles all my recruitment for stylists. So she will be interviewing them face-to-face, and that is just a very short session of getting to know them. And the moment when they pass that interview, they'll be going through a 1-week training. So during the 1-week training, we call it the no string attached training period.
No string attached.
No strings
what
attached.
What a cool thing, okay?
Yes, it's
kind of a one-night stand.
Yeah.
no string attached, okay?
7-night stand.
7-night stand, okay.
Yeah, reason being is because when they were to spend that 1 week with you, you get to know who they are as a person, the values that they hold, their personality, are they driven, are they willing to learn as compared to just meeting them that one time and decide whether to hire them.
It's hard to fake it in 1 week, no?
It's hard, and also for them to really understand what COCOdry stands for. Do they resonate with our culture within that 1 week? If within that 1 week we think that they are not a suitable candidate, we'll let them go. And let's say within that week, if they don't think that we are the company that they see themselves working with, they cannot connect with our culture, they can choose to leave as well. And then after 1 week, they will need to be bonded with us for a year.
For a year?
For a year.
Okay.
Reason being, the trainings that we provide is very, very thorough.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
I have a question on this one. Yeah, what kind of training do you provide to them?
So the thing, even when it comes to the stylists that we recruited, that's when empowerment comes in. We even recruit people who do not have any relevant experiences in the hair industry. For people who are just simply passionate to learn about hair, but they do not have the funds to do it. So it's somewhat like a scholarship that we are actually providing. Yes.
And then what could be the next step for them? Career path?
Yeah, so for career path, so they'll start as a stylist, and let's say they perform very well, then we'll choose them as our team lead, and from team lead they could be promoted as a manager of the store, and from manager of the store, as we expand, they could be the manager of many stores.
How long is your day?
Back then,
I mean,
was
aside of the normal
12
24 hours that everybody has, whatever, you know.
How long is my day?
Yeah, usually at work, basically.
At work.
When you
I would say my work is part of my life.
Okay.
I work around the clock.
Okay. So no work-life balance, as it's traditionally called. I don't believe in work-life balance.
I don't believe in work-life balance too, but because why do you have to separate work and life when work is a part of your life? And if you make it enjoyable, your work is your life. The reason why people split it is simply because they are not happy with their work. But if you really truly find joy in what you do every single day, why can't work be a part of your life? But the thing is, how I see it is, it's not that I don't believe in work-life balance, it's just that personally my work is a big part of my life and I find so much joy in it that you know, it has become a part of my life. Like without work, I'll feel like, wait, like what am I doing today? Like what's my purpose?
Yeah.
What is driving me forward?
Got 2 minutes and then whatever, you know.
And where is my sense of fulfillment?
The question about this, to follow up on this one, you got an endless energy. I mean, you got a great husband, you have a baby.
Yes,
You
I
run
do.
a company.
Yes.
You have no work-life balance. Where do you get the energy from?
That's a very good question. People always tell me that they love my energy. I'm not like that all the time. It's just that people always happen to catch me when I'm on my
So what, 23 hours and 59 minutes of the day, you have this awesome smile and laughter and energy, and that 1 minute, if you catch her on that 1 minute, and she's off.
How do I have that energy? But I would say that getting enough rest is very important. I have 8 hours of sleep every single day. But having the right people in your life, having the right support system, finding little wins in things is very important to me. Finding joy in little things means that, for example, right now when I look at the sky, I see a bird flying and the sky is so blue. I feel a sense of like gratitude and just like, oh my God, the sky is so beautiful. And that makes me feel good.
Capturing the little things.
And capturing the little things. And sometimes when I get so busy and then I'll just feel a little bit demotivated and I'll be like, wait, what haven't I been practicing? Oh wait, I haven't been practicing gratitude. I haven't been celebrating my little wins. And little wins also means, like your team coming to you and say, okay, Kim, like, thank you so much for like giving me this feedback. And you're like, oh my gosh, like little things like that. So even in COCOdry, we practice gratitude every single day, every single morning.
Wow, how do you do that?
Before we start our meeting, it's always, okay, what I'm grateful for today. And everyone will be sharing. So like my team members will, oh my gosh, like my boyfriend was taking care of me over the weekend. And I'll be like, oh, I brought Kobe, my 11-month-old son, to the aquarium. It's always about the little things that makes you feel contented about life, and that is the culture that we practice in COCOdry as well.
Nice.
And personally, and even in our stores too, we have this thing called the appreciation token, where if someone does something nice for you, just give them a token. And for those that collect the most token, they can get a COCOdry product as an appreciation gift for them for always going extra mile and doing extra things for the people around you.
That gels people together, bonds people.
That bond, yes.
What are 5 words that describe you?
The 5 words that describe me: positive, happy, ambitious, adventurous, grateful,
energetic, grateful.
Yeah.
What would your friends, not your team now, what would your friends tell us about you?
My friends would say that I'm very brave. I'm very driven. I always get what I want. I'm very energetic and happy. I think so too. Would they say that about me? Forgetful. Doesn't reply my message fast enough.
Opening a business as a woman, running a business as a woman, in your age, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, you opened it when you were 26, right?
26 years old.
And now you are 30, so she's running it for 4 years already.
Yes.
How was that for you as a woman? Did you experience any disadvantages, biasness because of that?
Disadvantages and biasness. I've had that when I first started, and I think it's just people telling me that I cannot do it. Like I mentioned earlier, that I'll be eaten by a big fish. They see me as a little girl trying to put herself out there, not knowing what she's in it for, or how hard or how competitive the industry is. But at the same time, instead of looking as, oh my gosh, I've been discriminated, like, biased or whatever, but I will always think as a woman, like, what are the advantages that I have that can make this, a success? So like you mentioned as well, like, is it very common? Yes, it's actually quite common for women to start a business in Malaysia, especially in the fashion and beauty industry. And I would say because of that, there is a strong community of women that always come together and support each other through collaboration.
There's a community in your industry. Wow, cool. Despite it being actually very competitive, right?
I would say the landscape has changed. Back then, it used to be really competitive. Like people are always tearing each other down during my dad's era. But right now, I think it just warms my heart to see how, you know, different business owners will always come together to celebrate each other's wins, be there for each other's launches, and coming together to really discuss about the problems that we face and what can we do to, you know, push through the challenges.
Is your work getting easier as you gain experience?
Oh, no. Surprisingly.
You hoped.
I thought it would get easier. Yeah, I mean, like, reason being, people always ask me, like, what is the biggest challenges that you have faced? And I always say that challenges is always big until you resolve them. And because I haven't resolved my current challenges that I face, so that's why I feel like, oh my god, this is the biggest challenges in my life. Just like the challenges that I faced the year before. And before I even started. Does it get harder and harder? Yes, because your business is growing, you're entering into a very different phase.
What's the relationship between opening the first outlet, second outlet, and third outlet?
Oh, in my case, it's quite different. Reason being, for our second outlet, we opened with a cafe called 10, which I partially own too. For our third outlet,
It's in Publica.
It's in Publica. Thank you for the shout out. The third outlet is at Platinum Park.
Promotion alert.
Yes, and it has a very beautiful view of the Twin Towers, KLCC. And that is in partnership with Lumi, a very popular skincare brand in Malaysia, as well as Tone, which is owned by the Babel Group.
If you were able to go back to a younger you, what would be something you would do differently? What would the older Kim now tell the younger Kim what she should do differently? Or would you act the same?
Be brave. Be brave.
Even braver?
Be brave to do it on your own.
Be brave what?
To do it on your own.
In what sense on your own?
In what sense? Maybe a little history about me. When I first started, I didn't have the confidence to do it on my own. I'm always looking for other people, having other people to do it with you.
Okay.
So you don't feel so lonely, you don't feel so alone. And if anything fails, you have someone to, you know, go through this journey with you. What I would tell my younger self is, you can do it on your own. If you would like to get someone to do it with you, make sure the person can commit the way you do it. That is what I would have done differently, and I wish I had the courage to do it well.
What would have been different if you would have done it following your own advice?
What would have been different?
Yeah.
I would be so proud. Even, honestly, I'm very proud of myself and
You
where
can
I
be
am
proud,
today.
I think.
I would be even prouder, like, oh my gosh, like you've got guts to do it on your own, you know?
But it's a positive proud. People sometimes say like being proud is a negative attitude.
No.
But what you're talking about is a positive, being proud of what you have achieved or how far you have come.
Yes, and I always tell people that right now, everything that I have really does make me feel like I'm living in my dream.
So coming from this point here right now, okay, about being proud of how far you have come, how much you've achieved already. Someone who's watching this video right now says like, looks at you and says like, wow, she has come so far. What is a message you would like to tell people who are watching this video?
I think it's really believe in yourself. If I can do it, you can do it too.
How can they get started
That
in
was
believing
how
in themselves?
I started too. A lot of people may say, oh, I don't have money to start a business. I don't have experiences to do it. But the thing is that I mentioned earlier as well, like if you don't have funds, you can try to raise funds. You can put together a pitch deck. You don't know anyone, DM people that may be interested. When I say DM, I literally send a message on Instagram to ask if that person is interested in investing in COCOdry and whether I can arrange a meeting with that person. And that was exactly what I did. And looking back, I was like, oh my god, like you're this brave. Yeah, I was like, wow, you actually did that. I don't know what went through my head, but at that point of time, I just wanted to make things happen. And it's just doing everything you can, doing everything in your control to make it happen. And if it didn't, it's fine. You know, you feel trying. And it's not just feeling, you have learned so much along the way that is preparing you for something even bigger in the future. And it's never about like feelings, it's always about what are the lessons. And I also did ask myself this question, what is the worst that could happen? And the worst that could happen is I'm in a very privileged situation where if all else fails, I don't have to end up on the street. I still have a house to live in. I can still go back to corporate and I may lose my investors' money, but in every single business, there is always a risk. And I did tell my investors that you know what, I cannot guarantee you that this is going to be 100% successful, but I will give my 200% to make sure that it does. So that was something that I shared to my investors as well. But then I asked myself, what is the best that could happen? And it is endless. The possibility is endless. And it's true. Like 4 years down the road, I've met so many amazing people in my life, my friends, my mentors, my team members, how we grew from 1 outlet to 3 outlets, and it's really endless.
Huge experience, no?
It is. And it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life, to really put myself out there. And the moment I decided that, hey, I'm going to start a business. Yeah.
Cool. Anything on the horizon that totally excites you for
Yes,
COCOdry?
I would really like to bring COCOdry international.
Wow.
Yes.
What was your dream country?
All the Southeast Asian countries, like Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Singapore. But the personal touch will always be there, in the sense that we'll always go extra mile to make our guests feel good about themselves.
Can you share a book, a movie, a piece of art that had a profound impact on you, on your perspective and your values?
I like all books.
You like to read, is it?
Yes.
You've got time to read.
I like all movies as well. Like when I watch Emily in Paris, I'm like, oh my god, like I want to go to Paris.
Open the COCOdry in Paris.
I want to experience how it's like to work in an advertising firm. Because the thing is, I'm so curious and I'm so full of life. I want to experience a lot of things. And then when I watch Barbie, and I'm like, wow, you know, like the storyline is so strong. It touches the heart. It's really about looking inwards of who you really are as a person. Recently, I watched this video which I love. So what the video shared was, introduce yourself, but you cannot mention about your age, don't mention about what you do, don't mention about your job history, and just who you are as a person. There are a lot of aha moments. So is there any movie that changed my life? No, but I would say all movies have contributed to the person that I am today. It's the same as all the books that I have read along the way. Yeah, like Girl Boss wasn't the first book that I read, but Girl Boss was the book that inspired me to start my business. And on top of that, there's another book that I really like as well. It's written by the CEO of Disney. He wrote a very good book about leadership. A Ride of a Lifetime. That is the title of the book. And actually, I even did a book review on my Instagram.
What is a quote or a mantra that has guided you throughout your journey?
I have two.
Share, Ken.
The first one is, what you think, you become.
Okay.
The second one is, trust the process.
How do you envision COCOdry's role in contributing to the larger community or industry beyond just being a successful business?
Yes, so how we have actually contributed to the industry and community as a whole is that it's not just about doing well, it's doing good by doing well. One of the examples is actually last year, we actually bring, you know, a group of breast cancer survivors together during breast cancer month. You know, pamper them, groom them, and also give them the confidence that they need. So it's just really bringing people together to share their experiences with one another, so they feel empowered, knowing that they actually have a support group, they have a support system for them to actually get through this. Yeah, so that was the little thing that we did. We also collaborated with Oxwipe. It's also a Malaysian brand. We came up with like a jumper that says, "You've got tits." It means you've got this. Yeah, so these are the little things that we have done.
Nice.
Yeah, does it change the industry community as a whole? I don't know, but it's always been influencing life one at a time. And
giving something.
Just like the moment, if we can make that one person's day, to me is better than no one's day. Yeah, it's never really about the like how big your contribution is. It's about, is there contribution or no contribution? You
can see in the video a couple of times already on how to link up with Kim, but maybe you want to give a shout out to yourself of how do people find you, where you can reach Kim right now below, okay? So, but verbally speaking, where can they find you?
On Instagram.
Instagram, she's an Instagrammer.
It's the only social media that I'm active on. So you can actually go on Instagram and type in Keep It Real, KIMMYITREAL. It's like keeping it real, if you get what I mean. It's like a pun, like trying to keep my journey real.
Alright, cool. Alright. And then until next time, terima kasih, jumpa lagi, and bye bye.